Hi everyone, my name is Kiki Wu. Today let's talk about people and data accessibility and just how we can do things better, do it differently. People are different, so is data. People come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, just as how data is being coded with different marks, sizes, hues, and shades. We design all sorts of charts to represent the many data we have, but assume people would fit into a single box without considering their individual abilities. This is problematic as it limits our view of the world and has excluded many from data analytics. That includes people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. About 1 in 6 children in the US has one or more developmental disabilities. An intellectual and developmental disability, or IDD, is broadly related to thought process, characterized by significant limitations in intellectual functioning and daily adaptive behavior. People with IDD struggle with abstract thinking, spatial reasoning, and have historically had a limited exposure to mathematical and statistical training at school. Visualizations, which rely on these abilities to help people make sense of data, often do not work for this population, and our current best practices were developed without considering their unique abilities. Now, it is time to make a change. In this paper, we investigate how people with IDD interpret data differently and how we can support their self-advocacy and decision-making with data visualization. We explored 3 factors that might achieve this goal, drawing on literature in educational psychology and experience of domain experts. We learned that people with IDD process information differently, and that the right chart type for the data may differ from what traditional guidelines recommend. We looked at common chart types, including bar charts, line graphs, stack bars, pie charts, and tree maps, to see how they support certain tasks. Using discrete marks, like in isotypes, may provide visual memory aids to support better comprehension and recall. So we tested data continuity on common visualizations to confirm this hypothesis. We also anticipated the benefit of using imagery to connect data to meaning, and tried a variety of chart embellishment strategies, such as icons and chart junk, to see whether they help a viewer better understand what the data represents. We conducted a web-based mixed methods experiment with 34 participants with and without IDD to measure how these design factors affect data accessibility. We measured stimuli with both time series data and proportion data in a scenario of financial self-advocacy. We measured quantitative task completion time and accuracy, and conducted scaffolded interviews to learn from both populations about their chart preferences and the features and strategies that they were using to make sense of data, which allowed for participatory insight into the differences in how they read and use visualizations. All in all, we found significant differences in what visualizations work best for people with and without IDD. And we summarized our findings as 4 design guidelines. Avoid the pie charts. People with IDD performed much worse with pie charts than they did with stack bars and tree maps when reading data. Use familiar metaphors. Semantically meaningful images benefit abstract thinking. As described by our participants, a bar chart looks similar to a staircase, and the tree map, it just reminds them of colored papers. Yet, use embellishment in moderation, because too much visual complexity can also be overwhelming and lead to distraction. Last but not least, use discrete encodings only for X-aligned representations, as it would otherwise over-encourage counting and cause people to second-guess themselves. Our study only scratched the surface of accessible visualization. While one size doesn't fit all, there are many creative possibilities. Creativity is a continuum. It's a spectrum along which we develop novel solutions to make data universally accessible. It requires working with people with IDD to design data visualizations for themselves to explore this creative spectrum and create innovative solutions that empower all people to use data. We believe disability should not be dismissibility, and accessibility means empowerment. Thank you for listening. Please check out our paper and project page for more information.